What's up, Ruben?
What's up? What's up?
How's everybody doing?
Hello, Bethel family. How are you?
Great to connect with you this morning on Facebook Live. We wanted to walk through some things that are kind of coming up. COVID being what it is, 1 year. Mm-hmm. So 1 year ago this week, we were making decisions on whether we're going to shut down or we were going to, what we're going to do. And so I was looking back on some of our videos, and it's amazing how life has progressed in a year.
Yeah.
And
What's up, Hannah?
Good to see you guys jumping in.
Joe.
So here's what I want to do right now, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but what I want to do is I want to walk through kind of what's happening next, because everything is in phases. And with COVID being so prevalent, and a lot of people have had COVID, I've had COVID, Pastor Ruben's had COVID, and then the vaccination is so prevalent, there's a shift towards almost a feeling of relief and more like we're stepping into a new season. And so right now we're kind of at the edge of a new season. And one of the things that's happening right now at Bethel is that a lot of people are going to start coming back into the building. And so I want to talk to 3 different groups of people. And one of the things that we want to do is clarify kind of the experience going forward, because if you've been in person gathering at Bethel since June, you're already beyond the honeymoon and you're already having marital pains. It's kind of like getting married. You're dating, you went into the honeymoon, and then now you're already living the life with 3 kids and work. And
life got real.
Life got real. Well, if you've been home and been watching online and engaging online this whole time for a year now, you're at a different place. Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of starting this dating relationship, and so we want to make sure that at all different categories and all different groups of people understand and how we can serve each other over the next several months. Okay. I've come up with this kind of like traffic, red, yellow, green. And I want to start with the red, and Pastor Ruben and I are going to kind of go back and forth on this, because this will give us some clarity over the next few weeks and the next few months, and it'll require love. Love is the overall theme, is love. And so we're in Oklahoma. As you guys know, Oklahoma does not have a lot of the restrictions that a lot of our other friends and churches around the country have. And so Oklahoma is in its own unique place. And then depending on in Oklahoma, different communities are at a different pace as well. And so we're in Yukon. Yukon is, if we want to look at this categories, red, yellow, green, Yukon is between yellow and green, where people are getting back to normal, whatever that is, normal life. And so let's start with the red. Pastor Ruben, why don't you look at this and then talk through this a little bit and what this means and what we mean by it.
Yeah, so red are... Initially, we kind of thought that red were like those people that were coming or were staying away completely. But we're seeing some of those people start to kind of come back. And we're realizing, like Pastor Ray said, that as they come back to kind of in-person gatherings and things like that, they didn't have the experience that we had, some of us, back in June. And so they're kind of stepping into a new season of their life where some people have already kind of been through that. They've worked through some of the emotions and some of the fear and anxiety of regathering in person. And so they're stepping into that for the first time, many of them. And so as a way to love them, we kind of are talking through and thinking through, man, what were some of the emotions and the feelings and the thoughts that we had coming back for the first time, and trying to really love them well in the process. So red, like, how can we kind of identify some of these people, and really what do they need from us as a church to be able to really feel cared for and loved? And reds, they're probably going to be wearing masks. They're going to be very cautious. And that can be for a variety of reasons, whether or not it's from personal experience, whether or not from a family member, or even for themselves having it or being really scared of having it. And so we want to respect them well.
Or the simple fact that they've been away for a year. And so they're kind of putting their toe in to see what it's like to come back to church.
Yeah.
And some of our family haven't even gone to the stores or restaurants or anything like that. And so we're stepping into this new kind of experience. So how can we can identify them by probably wearing a mask, being a little bit standoffish. So how do we serve them? Yeah,
one of the ways that we can really come alongside them and serve them well is giving some physical distance. I think them being in their house for a long period of time, away from people, out of caution or whatever it may be, I think by giving them some physical distance, and then no close, or like as you talk with them, right? Like we're kind of respecting some distance to let them know, hey, I'm so glad that you're here. We're so excited to see you. And I think our initial reaction is when you haven't seen somebody for a long time,
you want to go hug them.
They're like, oh man, I'm so glad you're here. It's so great to see you.
And Bethel's a friendly place,
yes.
and we love to interact. And so it's like, I want to wave at you, but I'm really hugging you on the inside.
Yeah. So I think nonverbal communication is going to be really important for this group, just to really let them know, hey, I love you. Facial expressions is going to be good if you're not wearing a mask yourself, and be able to express non-verbally and let them know, hey, I'm so excited to see you, but I also understand where you're at, and we really want to respect them in that way. So 6
lots
feet
of
away,
waves,
thumbs up, like kind of communicating from a distance is would be a good thing to.
You'll know it's kind of like oil and water. You'll start approaching and they'll kind of bounce back. That's your clue to be like, okay, so this person's red, whether I see a mask or not. Let me figure this out, and I'm going to show love. So there's a couple things that we've identified that we need to show this people that are in the red category, which are many of you that are coming back over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and I think 3 of those things would be love and respect for whatever situation they're coming from. Maybe we haven't had the same experiences that they have, or maybe we're not in the same stage of life as they are, and we may not understand. So it's going to require a lot of humility as well to say, okay, I'm going to put this person, as Paul says, above myself, and I'm going to be understanding and walk in humility with these people so that they can begin to gather with the body of believers as well. And so we want that to happen.
And I'll tell you this, we are so excited to see you again. Many of you that haven't gathered in person for a while, some of you we haven't seen in a year, and it's just oh man, we're really excited to have you here, and we want to serve you. We want you to understand that we know the anxiety, we understand the stress of coming back in gathering, and we want to make sure that we do our best. And then we'll talk about how you can help other groups that are in other categories as well. So we're excited to have you here, and we want you to experience the in-person family, and also experience the little chunk of heaven that we have here at Bethel Community Church. The next group is the yellow group, and so the yellow group is maybe larger than the red group, and this is the group that has been gathering for a few months, has already been back in person. They'll still wear their mask every Sunday, or possibly not necessarily wear a mask, but give you a fist bump and stay a little bit away, keep the 6 feet social distancing, kind of keep the cautiousness of coming out of isolation. And so I remember when we first came back, some of us wore masks, some of us didn't. We had these little hands that we waved at each other. And so the yellow is an interesting group, because this is the one that takes the most discernment to identify. Yeah. And so we have, in this group, if you're in the yellow category, really it's on you to communicate how we should approach. And so if you have a mask on, if anybody's wearing a mask, really what they're saying is, hey, back up. It's really kind of what they're saying. Now, that may not be what you're saying, but in your mind, it should trigger, okay, I need to be cautious with this approach. If they stick out their hand, they're wearing a mask, they stick out a hand, obviously they want you to shake their hand. Mm-hmm. And if you're comfortable with it, shake their hand. If they put out, it's initiated by the other person. Mm-hmm. If they put out their fist for a fist bump or an elbow bump or however it goes. So this is a limited physical contact, no physical contact, unless it's initiated by the other person. Yeah. And really this should be a general practice rule anyway at the church, is that we need to allow the other person to initiate, or be okay with them putting a hand out and saying, hey, no, it has nothing to do with them loving you. It has nothing to do with acceptance. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah. It's really just an overly cautious. It's kind of like you have the red, green, and yellow light. You have that green light and you go, and then you see that yellow one, and it's like, heads up, it's about to go red. Let's be careful. And so here's what we want to do with those that are in the yellow category. You're not going to come in and say, yellow, yellow. You're not going to do that. But we will allow you to initiate contact. And so fist bumps, handshakes initiated by you is how we're going to proceed. And all of us, we need to understand that there are 3 things that also kind of characteristics that we need to give those that are in the yellow category, which is love. Love is the overarching of all of them. Without love, we can't do what we're doing. Yeah. But we also need to have this yielding spirit. And the yielding spirit is that, yellow light's there, and I'm going to yield to you. And so wherever you are in your journey with COVID or with anything else, I'm going to yield to you in that aspect. And then joy along the way. we are so happy that people choose to come. We know everyone has a choice, and we are so happy when people choose to come. So no matter if you're red, yellow, or green, we're so happy that you're there. So what we're going to give you is joy. Last one is green, and green is go full like gas to the pedal. And so talk through that a little bit, Pastor Ruben.
Yeah, it's we find a lot of people in this area kind of they're over the mask thing, they're over the staying at home, they're ready to move on with life. And though not everyone's in that category, not everyone even understands that category. There's some people, depending on experiences, it's just they're like, man, I don't get it. Like, I don't get how you could be out in public. I don't get how you could be just moving on with life. I mean, don't you see that there's a pandemic happening? And so what it's going to require, I mean, some of these people, they're ready. And so it's going to require for that group, again, love, right? Everything that we do and everything that we strive to do is motivated by love. Paul tells us that, like, without love, all of this, what's the point, and why does it even matter? So we want to love that group as well, but we're going to need to be patient with that group, especially if you're on the other end, if you're a red or a yellow, and you kind of put yourself in that category. You're not. A green person, it may come up to you and they moved on, right? And they're ready to go. They're geared up and they love being in person, and they're not fearful of anything, or they don't have an experience that tells them to even be fearful. So it's going to require a lot of patience and forgiveness, because I'll tell you what, green people are they're gonna make a lot of mistakes because they're in a different spot, and so it's going to require some patience and some forgiveness toward those people as we're a family together, working things out and trying to figure out how we can love and serve one another well.
We get to express the gospel, which is really cool. The gospel is life-changing. The gospel is loving. The gospel is yielding. The gospel gives us a second chance. And so if you're in a red category and a green person comes up and just like invade your personal space, make it clear that you're not comfortable with that. Make it clear that you're in the red zone and that they've burst your bubble. And then forgive, and let's move forward. That is a way to work out the gospel. If you're in the green zone and you invade someone's space, ask for forgiveness, back up, learn, and say, okay, I'm going to respect. And so this being a friendly family, our church, a friendly environment, we really, really do respect where you are. We love where you are. Yeah. And we understand that we are better when we're together, and we're better when we're on the same page. And so depending on where you're at, red, yellow, green, we're excited to partner with you over the next few weeks. But I'm excited to see some of you that I haven't seen in a while step back into the building. And we're going to do our best to love you well. And we're going to do our best to accommodate. And remember that love's the most important thing.
Yeah, because I think, even if whether it's preferences or ideologies or whatever, there's a lot of things in this being included, this whole red, yellow, green, wherever you find yourself. There's a lot of things that could divide, and there's a lot of things that would make room or to cause us to not be on common ground. And I think about the differences of the people, like the backgrounds, even religious backgrounds, different experiences people have, upbringings, cultural backgrounds, where they come from, where they grew up, where they moved from, all that stuff. Like, you look at our church, it's really an eclectic group of people, and it's
we're a bunch of weirdos. It's okay.
Yeah, somebody mentioned the other day, they said, man, like, they walked in and they said, this is the closest thing that I've to heaven that I've experienced in my life, because there's so many different people from all different walks of life. And this is just one of those things. So we think about the thing that actually unites us and brings us together and gives us a common working or a common ground to work from. And that's simply Jesus. And so we truly are all about Jesus. We want to make room for the people who are red, for the people who are yellow, and for the people who find themselves even in a green category to say, hey, come, we want to create a place where you can experience Jesus, hear about Jesus, and understand the gospel, and live out the gospel in a real tangible way. So,
and it's really allowing us to live out our mission. And we say it every Sunday: love and lead one another. But then there's this other thing that we talk about a lot, and it's not about me. Mm-hmm. It's all about Jesus. It's not about me. It's all about others. And we actually get to put this into practice over the next few weeks. And so we understand the divisive nature of this. We understand the fear that comes with this. And but I will tell you that we are really excited to see you at a distance. We're excited for you to see. And I will warn you, there are a lot of new people, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that have stepped into Bethel, called Bethel home. God is doing something great at our church, and so they're looking forward to meeting you as well. You're going to be the visitor this time around, and we want you to be our guest, and we're excited that you're stepping back into your family. I see Linda. Good to see you, Linda, and good to see you stepping back into this. And I understand that it is hard. It is very hard. I get it. And that's why we wanted to talk about this just for a minute and let you know we're aware of it. And if you'll give us patience along the way, we'll be able to make this happen. And we'll get past the dating honeymoon, and then we'll just be old married fogies. All right. All right.
Well,
anything else?
good. Nope. That's it. Love
right.
you guys.
Love you guys. Take care. God bless you. Love and lead. Let's do it.